Sir, I'm the skeptic. Sir, you about this fact that we should enhance our competence. So, how do you start this process?
IIT is a beginning. So, what are you skeptical about? You don't believe competence will work in this world, is it? Corruption is also a certain kind of competence, anyway.
That was supposed to be a joke.
Huh?
That was supposed to be a joke.
Okay, that's supposed to be a joke. So, now, how do I enhance my competence? See, let's say you want to run on the field, let's say you want to run a race, you want to run 100 meters. It is not running that you have to work on right now, you have to work on your legs and lungs and muscle and everything, isn't it so? So, if you want to become a great engineer, yes, definitely an institute like this is crucial on one level. But any number of people might have come here and gone, not all of them became great engineers. Though they might have produced hundreds of great engineers, still not all of them will become, simply because of their own individual attitudes and competence and whatever else, isn't it? So, whatever the institute can do for you, it is doing. One foremost thing that you need to do is to enhance your own physical and mental capabilities. Because if you want to be a good engineer, you need a working brain. Just having a degree of engineering may be a passport to a job, but it is not a passport to success, isn't it? So to have a working brain, which the engineering degree will not freeze. Usually lots of degrees, when people acquire degrees, they freeze their brains. They think they can… now they've finished using it and now they can rest it for the rest of their lives. It is not so. This is only to enhance your capability. This is just an organized effort. A school, a college, an institute is just an organized effort towards that, because each individual cannot craft it for himself. That is why an institution. Otherwise, an institution has no other purpose. It is here to just organize that possibility of you striving to be of a certain competence. But that is a mass application. But as an individual, your most important thing is you as a human being, you are functioning at the fullest level. If that has to happen, there are other dimensions which one needs to explore. Unfortunately, though these sciences and technologies for inner well-being have been the mainstay of this culture for thousands of years, today we are largely losing it for various reasons, because we want to imitate somebody else. We don't want to imitate our grandfather Topiwala anymore. We want to imitate the hat seller from another country. Because of that, we are losing those things, but we should not. We have to bring it back into our lives. This is very much a part of the way the culture itself is structured, that it is all about the human being. See, this is the only culture which talks about, which even an illiterate person in this culture is aware of, that you can actually evolve to another dimension of existence. Even if I go into a village and talk to an illiterate peasant who has not read anything, who doesn't know anything, who's not heard any of this stuff, even to him if I go, he will not ask me, give me a golden horse or something, he'll say, "Enakku mukti venum Swami." He's saying he wants ultimate liberation. Where did this fellow get this? Nowhere else on the planet this is possible. Nowhere else on this planet is it possible that an illiterate person is thinking that he can break his present dimension of existence and go to another place, whatever that place is. So, this was bred into our culture so deep, we should not lose it. It was not just the idea, there are technologies to become free. If you became free from the process of your body and the process of your mind, if you can sit outside of it and work it, you would work it brilliantly, do you understand? You would be able to use this body and use this mind only when you are able to not treat it as myself. These are powerful instruments in your life. These instruments can be employed the way you want it. only when you have an outside access to it. Right now, you are a phenomenal computer, but you don't know where the keyboard is. When you can't think, you scratch this spot, that's not where it is. Do you see people? When they cannot think, they're thinking hard, they scratch here. It doesn't work like that. There are proper steps that one can take. It could be offered here if everybody is willing for that.
The question is, how can we translate Gita, the philosophy of Krishna, into augmenting business in India?
I have not read the Gita, so I really have not. I'm sorry, because for me, my own vision has never failed me. So I always kept away from all scriptures because I didn't want to clutter myself with something or the other. The only thing that I learned and I continue to do is, if I look at something, if I look at a person, I know their past, present and future. That is the level of attention I'm paying to them. I don't look at like this. When I look at it completely, with all that I have. If you pay enough attention, there is nothing that will not yield. So I never had any reason or need to go looking for scriptures or something. With all respect and regard for them, it is not that I'm averse to it, it's just that I've not had the time. How this whole process started is, when I was very young, I realized that I just don't know anything. See, if you realize that you do not know, if it's a full-scale realization that you do not know anything, paying attention will be natural, because you know everything. You know this guy, you know this. There are assumptions and assumptions and assumptions. Well, I have used it in a different way, but even if you're doing business, even it's for business purposes, the only reason why one human being seems to be… all the opportunities seems to be going in his direction and not other people is simply because he's able to see and other people are not able to see. It's not that it's not there for others. One is able to see and others are not able to see. So essentially, a leader means that you're able to see something that others are not able to see. So, attention without intention, simply being attentive, that's what we were trying to do in the afternoon. Not paying attention to something, just practicing attention, a very heightened level of attention where an unfocused attention, but when you focus it on something, just about anything has to yield, there is no other way to that attention. So, I always focused on enhancing and sharpening my attention, never on retention because what you gather is not you. Essentially, you know that you exist only because you have some sense of attention right now, isn't it? Suppose you fall asleep and you lose your attention, you do not even know that you exist. So the basis of your existence itself is attention. And this attention need not be mortgaged to anything. You just have to sharpen the attention. See, if you have a knife in your hands, there is no such thing that you have to cut only apples with this. If you have a sharp enough knife, you could cut anything that you want. But the important thing is the knife is sharp enough, so that your attention is keen enough, not for something or the other. If your attention has become very keen, if you wish to do a certain type of activity, you can successfully do it. I think I must say something about my own enterprises at one time. My enterprise started when I was 8 years of age. Because of a strange kind of pride in me, I never ever took a single rupee as a pocket money from my parents. I started making money when I was 6, 7 years of age. By 8, I was quite an accomplished entrepreneur. Simple things. Even today I'm known in Mysore because I caught snakes in everybody's houses. If I caught a snake, they gave me 25 rupees. In 1960s, 25 rupees is $1 million for a 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid. I was just on top of the world. So there is a Food Research Institute, CFTRI. Every Saturday afternoon I went there, I caught 4, 5 snakes. They measured it. I have to show it to like this. If it's over 3 feet, I get 50 rupees. Less than 3 feet, I get 25 rupees. On an afternoon, I would make 100, 150 rupees. I don't know if you can imagine, 150 rupees for an 8, 10-year-old kid in 1960s or 70s was like $1 million today. It was big. And I went to so many things, just about anything that came my way. I should tell you a little enterprise that I did which grew into a big business. After my university, where I learned nothing, but I passed. The only thing was, by then I had crisscrossed India on my motorcycle, and I suddenly realized when I went to the borders of India, they asked me for something other than my driving license. I did not even know that there was a passport. See, it's not like today. Today every child, maybe 3-year-old, 4-year-old kid knows he has to have a passport. I'm in my 20s, but I do not know that I need a passport. I went to the border and then they said, "Where is your passport?" I said, "What? I have a driving license." They said, "No, you need a passport." Then I turned back from Nepal border and came back on my motorcycle. So my only dream was, I'm going to just ride across the world. So I wanted to do something, I started kind of farming, commercial farming. I was making money. I thought I will do for 2 years and leave. But in the meantime, my entrepreneurship took off in so many different ways. Like this I went about. And then there was an industry coming up close by, they wanted to build a water treatment plant. I happened to know the person who was running the industry. I just went there and I wanted to meet him. I was sitting in his office, they were discussing something about a water treatment plant. I just heard this and they were looking at the drawings and stuff. Then I asked him, "Can I apply? Can I do this? Because it is close to my farm, can I do this?" He said, "No, this is very complex, there are some experts from Mumbai and Bangalore who will come and do it, you cannot do it." I said, "Give me a chance, let me see." I took the file from him. I went and read through everything. Then I went back to him after 3 days and said, "I can do this." He said, "Don't you do this, you're my friend. I don't want to do this." "No, just let me give the tender." So those days, there was something called as Navakarnataka bookstalls. They were selling only the Russian books. You used to get big literature books, you can get Lev Tolstoy's War and Peace for 2 rupees and engineering books for 1 rupee, 2 rupees, all hardbound books. I bought 10 books about water treatment plant, sat down in my farm and poured through this day and night. I made my own new design. I went there and I gave a tender for 1.76 lakhs. Mind you, this is 70s. And the closest tender was 32 lakhs. The highest tender was over 60 lakhs. He looked at this and said, "You are funny. You're not going to do this." I said, "No, I can do it." He said, "No way you can do it. Look at this, the nearest tender is 32 lakhs and you're saying 1.76 lakhs. How will you do it?" I said, "Give me 1 more day." I went back again and poured through the books. I said, "I'll do it." Then he said, "It's 90 days, you must finish this and it must work. If it doesn't work, at your own cost, You must remove it, clean the site and go, and I will not give you a rupee of advance. I again went and poured through the books. I said, I can do it. I completed this in a little over 70 days. I did this in 90,000+ rupees. In one shot, I made 80,000 rupees, just like that. People thought this is a hit. There my construction industry started. Raja Ramanna was coming for RMP plant. He's just coming in a helicopter to see where this site is. There is no anybody there. I just went and met this engineer, he said he was breaking his head, I don't know what to do, I have to mark the site. I said, I've got pegs and white cloth. I will just go and mark the site for you. I marked it, they paid me 38,000 rupees for a 15-minute job. I went on my motorcycle and just fixed it myself. Like this my enterprise started and we grew into a major construction company. We were going very big, but then I got enlightened, so I gave up.
Thank you Sadhguru for sharing that story. Thank you, Professor. We kind of absolutely run out of time, otherwise we could have continued for another half an hour at least. Thank you for being an attentive audience.